With the release of the PTR in Korea, tons of rebalances, nerfs, buffs, you name it, we have it. It is time for us in the West to make some gold. If you're watching this, you are the lucky ones. You can spread the video around if you want, or you can keep it to yourself. But lots of people are panic making these decisions in the market, and you can make so much gold. So if you haven't done Argos this week, if you haven't done your tier 3 hard mode abyss dungeons, you could be in luck. Even going on to next week, we have to see how it plays out. So let's get right into it. What's going on, guys? It is Murdering here. We are talking about Lost Ark, the Korea patch. If you're not sure what this is about, there is a test server that, to my knowledge, and this is what Saintone told me, it is the first time they've ever done this. They've never done this before. Usually they release a rebalance and then they look for the player feedback afterwards, and that's how it goes down. Now it is a bit different here, but the West doesn't know that. They just don't know that. They haven't been playing for long enough. They think that what they saw is a live patch. Some of them don't know that it's a test server. They think everything is set in stone. So they are taking the market in the West and everything is going upside down. What does this mean? As we can see here, I am on my berserker right now. He is, of course, mayhem. That is very, very strong currently in the Western release and in Korea, which is why they made some changes to this. The changes were published. People are going crazy. So what happened? The market has directly been influenced by this patch. Now let's go ahead and search up the less common engraving for the berserker, which is going to be berserker technique here. Now let's have a look and notice a few things. 1100 gold per legendary book here as far as the engravings go. Now let's go ahead and take a look at mayhem. 2332. So you might be thinking, okay, that's not a huge deal here, but as we can see here, the price of this is tanking. It has gone down almost 100 gold and it stayed decently consistent, as we can see here, to 2400. Then it went up to 2700 here. So there's been decent fluctuation and it hasn't dropped too much. Now let's go back to berserker technique and take a look at the last 5 days for this. 200, 200, 200. You guys see my point. Now they shot all the way up to 1100 because people are panic buying. This is very good for people who are smart enough to realize that this is just a test server and it's never been done before. So you're going to have the upper hand here if you can capitalize on this. You have the ability now to sell accessories that you were just dismantling for lots of gold. Players who are panicking, they're doing everything they can to buy in right now, thinking things are going to get way more expensive down the line. Now, is this completely false? No, it could be true. However, I guarantee you the people who are buying in right now, the market's getting manipulated, not in their favor, and they're going to end up spending more if they commit to this now, because things can change very quickly. So what I do want to do is preface this a little bit. If you're not familiar with these patches, I'm going to link this in the description. It's going to be all in Korean here. These are the official PTR notes for what players are able to test in the Korean test server here. Like I said, you're gonna have to have some type of translation app. Go ahead and translate it and you will be fine to read through all of the notes here. Now let's take a look at the conversation I had with Saintone. Huge shout out to him. I'm sure everyone's heard of him. Just in case you haven't, definitely go check him out on his YouTube, Twitch. Make sure you follow him, subscribe, all of that good stuff. So we had a conversation here and I said, what's the typical rebalance state for Korea? What can we expect out of this? What has it been in the past? So we have some insight as to what's going to happen here. And he says normally it's Smilegate looks at the feedback on the forums, makes their change on their data, implements it, and then players react. That is how it's been up until this point. Now he says it's PTR changes based on the forums and data. Players react, then they're going to adjust, then they're going to implement it. Now, it doesn't take a genius to know this is a very, very good step forward. This small change they did is how it's what players love to see. This means the devs understand how their game works. They really care about the game. They're not just pushing out changes to say, oh, this seems OP, let's just change it based on that. They're giving players a chance to react to it. Then they're going to readjust based on the testing that's done in this test server, then they're going to implement the final nodes into the Korean game. Now the question is, we're in the West, what are we doing? Are we going to get it at the same time as Korea? Let's see what Saintone had to say about that. Usually other regions get our rebalances like 2 to 3 months after, sometimes even faster. So what does this mean? We have lots of time. It is almost guaranteed we are going to get Vaulted, normal, and hard before we see any of these changes implemented into the game, which is why it's not going to be smart to react like a lot of people are doing right now, and which is why you can make so much gold off of those people who are reacting. And I cannot stress this enough. Like we've seen here, I don't normally have a ton of gold. I'm constantly spending it and investing it. Now I cannot spend and invest it quick enough into my alts here because people are panic buying accessories that I would normally be dismantling, which is absolutely huge here. So this is the main point here. If we do see some changes, yes, we could get an expedited version of the rebalance, but like you said, typically 2 to 3 months after the rebalance happens in Korea, other regions start to get it, and that's assuming the PTR testing and rebalance is done and finalized, which there's no ETA on that as well. It could be 1 week, it could be 1 month. No one really knows how long they're going to let players test this and gather more feedback before they release their final set of patch notes for this rather large, if I have to admit, rebalancing to all of the classes here. So that's what I wanted to cover in this video here. Give me your thoughts, give me your feedback. Were you someone who was kind of panicked about this? I know the Discord has been going crazy. Everyone's saying this class is nerfed, this class is buffed, this is going to be OP, and you can already see people in game saying, I'm re-rolling right now. Please don't fall for that bait yet. It might be the right call, but it also might not be, and it's going to feel terrible. Some players may even quit over this. If they start focusing on a new character right now, investing all of their resources, then something happens with the new implementation of the patch notes where things don't turn out as they thought. Things aren't as strong as they thought they would be once the final notes are published, and they're sitting there like, what did I just do? My account's ruined. Now, don't ever say your account's ruined. That was definitely an over dramatization there, because no matter what, even if you're playing a class that is a main, I mean, take my account for example here. I have my deathblade, which I'm going to be maining for Vaulted at 1445. If they completely ruin both engravings of Deathblade, which they're not going to obviously, only Surge was mentioned in this current rebalance. If they did something to completely ruin both engravings, I would still have a 1445 alt down the line. That is huge. That means I can pick any other class here that I'm having more fun playing, because I'm a numbers guy. I enjoy numbers, and I do plan on rating at the highest level. To do that, you have to play perfectly with whatever class you pick, and very optimally. So of course I'm always going to go after kind of the FOTM, which means flavor of the month class, which is performing the best. I'm going to try to sustain as long as possible. So we are not at the point where they are in Korea, where you have a 1600 item level character, you've invested into level 10 gems. Those are huge investments. We are not there yet. Some whales have kind of gone crazy. 1490 full level 10 gems, full engraving books. Those players are, I don't know, maybe they're a bit salty, but listen, if you're going to whale that hard, you have no problem doing it again for the same return in another character if things don't work out, and then you have 2 decked out characters, and you can consistently keep farming resources for a long time without having to worry about any additional investment. So that's kind of the point here. Even if something does happen to your main class, once these notes are finalized and it's eventually implemented into the game a few months down the line, don't worry about it. Having alts at a high item level is still fine. We are nowhere near the point where investing into one character is a complete waste. Like I said, once we start getting into relic gear, getting level 10 gems, which is going to take a very long time for 99.99% of players to get even close to level 10 gems. Level 8 across the board is much more realistic down the line. Once you start getting there, then we get rebalance patches similar to what we see now. That's when you can say, okay, now I have to start thinking ahead. What am I going to do? Am I going to stick with my class? What's the turnover going to be for the investment? So we're nowhere near that. So everyone can take a deep breath, exhale. We are going to be fine. So this video was kind of just a rundown on basic information about the patch, how people are kind of overreacting to this heavily, and how we can make a ton of gold, I cannot stress this enough, off of the whales or just the regular players that are panicking for no reason. I know free-to-play players and casual players who have 100,000 gold that they've done nothing with. They've been playing the market, maybe they got lucky and they said, I don't really want to push my gear, push my item level, yeah, I'm kind of just chilling and cruising. Some of those players are starting to panic. They're kind of snickering, saying, see, this is why I saved the gold. Now I can invest in a new character. Unfortunately for them, you're the ones who are going to be profiting off of those players, thinking that these are set in stone and these changes are coming relatively soon. So that's going to conclude this video. Give me your thoughts and feedbacks in the comment section here. I try to be as realistic as possible with this content to give you guys the best information possible, because honestly, people deserve that from any content creator they're watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I will see you all in my next Lost Ark upload.